This is your tech news briefing for Wednesday, October 19th. I'm Zoe Thomas for the Wall Street Journal. Social media is often talked about in terms of the negative effects it can have on young users. But it's a growing number of more positive and authentic apps that are catching on with teens. One in particular, Gas, is leaning into that positivity. Gas asks teens multiple choice questions about people in their school and lets them vote on, say, the most beautiful person they've ever met or the classmate who is never afraid to get in trouble. The approach seems to be catching on. As of last Friday, it was the most popular free iPhone app. According to Data AI, it's been downloaded more than 500,000 times since late August. And it's not even available in all 50 states yet. That's great news for the app's founders, who previously built a similar app and sold it to Facebook before it became Meta. So what lessons can Gas learn from that experience? And what might it teach other social media platforms about attracting teens? Joining us to discuss this is our personal tech reporter, Ann-Marie Alcántara. Hi, Ann-Marie. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Zoe. Thanks for having me.
So what is it about this app that makes it so popular with young people?
I think people like it because it's sort of positive. You can't create the questions in polls. So you can't say, like, who has the worst smile or who do I hate sitting next to in lab. It's very geared towards making sure people don't feel bad when they log on and vote on these polls.
So you're voting in these polls that tend to be positive, but are there downsides or drawbacks to the app itself?
There always are to like any social media app, as you can imagine. People might feel left out. People might think they're not being voted on or, why didn't they get voted on for having the best smile or whatever the category might be. But one of the co-founders did tell me that, they created this algorithm that if you're not being voted on in polls, they're going to start surfacing your name more so you don't feel left out.
What about other downsides that we've seen from other apps, like data collection or the use of your information?
Yes, so this app, based on what one of the co-founders told me, they've made it very clear that privacy is naturally one of their top concerns. And so even in the sign-up process, you're prompted to share your contacts or your location so that you can start pre-populating polls or get matched to your high school faster, but you don't have to do that. You can choose not to do those things and then find these things on your own. And they've also said if you do share your location, it's not associated with your account or stored on their servers. And another feature that they've also implemented is not allowing direct messages on the app. So if someone did try to bully you or say you don't deserve to win best smile or whatever the poll was, no one can do that, at least on the app.
The founders of Gas also had another app, TBH. Can you tell us a bit about that app and how it's different from Gas?
Yes, so 5 years ago, TBH was around, similar concept, and climbed the App Store charts really, really quickly as well. There were a few different features, like you could direct message someone. And so now one of the co-founders of that app created Gas, and he's done things in this app, such as creating that algorithm that surfaces your name if you haven't been voted on in polls. And it has this in-app currency that rewards you if you are voting for people more.
So what happened with TBH then? Why did they switch to Gas?
So TBH, because of its popularity, was acquired by, at the time, the company we know now as Meta, Facebook Inc. And it was alive and around for probably almost a year after the acquisition. And then in a blog post, Facebook said there was low usage, so they shut down the app.
Let's talk a little bit about competition that they have, because there's been this boom of authentic, or I guess kind of more positive social media apps being really popular with teens. Be Real is one, Lock It is another. So can you give us a sense of what the competition is going to be like for Gas and how sustainable its growth might be given that?
I mean, the competition really depends on teens and what they're looking for. Maybe they'll get sick and tired of being positive and too authentic and want to, move to another app where they can be a little more real and share their thoughts, even if it's maybe a little mean. I think we are seeing this shift, though, towards people moving to these apps that are not curated, that they don't have any filters, that it's just kind of a nice little safe space. And, it's a select group of friends as well. It's not everyone you might know in school or in your life.
What about in terms of business growth for these apps? I mean, how are they going to make money in the long term?
That's the $1 million, maybe $1 billion question. But I think with many of these apps, you see them looking to introduce ads. In the case of gas, they do have multiple features you can pay for. And, that's some incremental revenue. And yeah, that's the question. Do you introduce ads and sort of add friction to the experience? Or do you introduce currency and subscriptions and then make people pay for this service that was once free and fun?
I wonder, given the growth that you're talking about in terms of the social media market now, the experience that the gas founders had with their previous app, TBH, shutting down after, maybe becoming less popular, if we're going to see that kind of shakeout happening in this social media space soon, are we going to see that maybe some of these apps can't survive or don't have the same following, or is there enough room for all of them?
We've seen this happen in the past few years as well. I'm maybe dating myself a bit, but I was around during the days of Yik Yak and Yo and all these other apps that had similar premises, of sort of connecting with your friends in a one-off, sort of anonymous type way. And many of those apps are now gone because, to your other question, they couldn't sustain a great business model. So unclear what will happen. The market is totally crazy, and there's definitely room for opportunity, as we've seen with TikTok and Be Real, for apps to really go viral. But yeah, the next question is absolutely, what will they do to maintain that growth and, of course, pay themselves, make sure that they can sustain the server capacity, all these questions.
All right, well, I guess we'll just all have to wait and see. That's our personal tech reporter, Ann-Marie Alcántara. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And that's it for today's Tech News Briefing. If you want more tech stories, check out our website, WSJ.com. I'm Zoe Thomas for the Wall Street Journal. Thanks for listening.